Sometimes loud, always on target. The great one, Mark Levin, tonight at 6 on NewsTalk 780 KOH.
We are back. It is Dan Mason on NewsTalk 780 KOH on a Friday. In case you lost track of the days, heading into the weekend. A lot of folks have joined my voice, and there's a lot of voices you are hearing with the very simple philosophy of get Nevada back to work. And one of those voices are former Nevada Attorney General Adam Laxalt, who joins us this morning. Adam, always good to catch up with you. We're ready to go. What's the holdup, right?
Good morning, Dan. Thanks for having me on.
You bet.
Yeah, look, I wrote an opinion editorial 2 weeks ago talking about the importance of us to find a way to get this state open as quickly as possible. And as you know, that was lonely territory, and frankly, is still lonely territory.
Yeah.
But it's important that we're willing to stand for this, because as I mentioned then, this is not lives versus the economy, as the media and the governor and others would have us all believe. This is lives versus lives. And, you know, we are already facing a recession deeper than the Great Recession.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I repeat that for the listeners. In the Great Depression, we had a 25% unemployment. We all remember that from the history books, or at least for me, the history books, and most of the listeners. Then you flash forward to the Great Recession, which hit Nevada worse than any state in America. That was 10% nationally, 15% in Nevada. We are at 25% and climbing today. And so let that sink in when we really start thinking of what this is going to look like on the other side. And no, it's not just, you know, Wall Street and stocks as they would have us believe. These are real jobs. This extends to substance abuse. As we all know, we were fighting the opioid crisis and many other things. That was on the decline. Will almost definitely be on the rise again. Domestic violence, depression, suicide. You're starting to hear now about people that aren't getting their routine checkups, and so the opportunities to catch a heart attack or a brain tumor or these things that happen in the course of a lot of different medical touches, these aren't happening anymore. So, you know, there really are a lot of consequences that are real lives, and this isn't just dollars. And, you know, I go back to the governor, I don't know, 4 weeks or so ago, and he was asked, you know, when are you going to open up the economy? And he says, I'm not opening up unless every single life is saved, and I'm not going to balance. I won't do economic balancing. And he just scolded the person that asked the question. Well, then, meanwhile, he was asked, well, how come the Raiders Stadium is continued when there's been positive COVID cases in the construction site? What was his answer? Well, they tell me that the economic disaster of falling behind schedule in the Raiders Stadium is just too big to bear.
Yeah.
So we've got to move forward. And so what did he do there? Clearly economic balancing, which, by the way, he has to do. That's fine. I'm not opposed to him making that decision for a large project if they could do it safely. What I'm opposed to is scolding others for trying to figure out not just one aspect of this, but to lead and look at all the aspects. And I would add, people were asking 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, what is the plan to open up Nevada? When are you going to give us a plan to open up Nevada? And there was like a heated response where he says, I'm not thinking about that right now. I won't think about that right now. I'm only thinking about handling the crisis at hand. And, of course, I'm sitting there. I think a lot of Nevadans are like, well, what do you mean? You can't do both things at once? You have to do both things at once. And so it was that attitude of not at least having another part of your team start to prepare for opening, I think is where we are today. We are where we are today without a clear plan. It finally came out yesterday. It is still very loose in substance and details. And that's because they didn't start on it weeks ago. And so what do we expect? And I think, the patience is wearing very thin with the people. We were all patient for the first many weeks, and we wanted the governor to succeed and help stem this crisis and help guide us through it. But that honeymoon is wearing thin if it hasn't already passed.
Former Nevada Attorney General Adam Laxalt is our guest. Yeah, I think a lot of people are of the feeling that we were at the point a couple of weeks ago where we thought we would be and that things would start to be opening up again. But it seems like we're still working in slow motion, I think would be the word.
Yeah, so, the shutdown order was supposed to go till yesterday.
Yeah.
And everybody's assuming, well, we're not hearing otherwise. I guess we're opening up. The governor decides to, a day before it's set to expire, say that it's going to be extended. Well, that is no way to lead. No business can respond on 24-hour notice. And in fact, businesses presumably ordered supplies and, started getting ready to open up. And what was even worse is that notice wasn't made here in Nevada to Nevada citizens. It was made on a national TV station.
Yeah. Good Morning America.
Just never is done.
Yeah, that was crazy.
People are very, very frustrated, and they have a right to be. And now that we finally, after weeks and weeks, have our quote-unquote first phase, the first phase is where we should have been a long time ago.
A couple of weeks at least, yeah.
So retail stores get to do curbside delivery. We should have allowed that the whole way through.
Yeah.
And pickleball is open. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So, it's really strange. And again, people are hurting. And we have 400,000 Nevadans that are unemployed, over 25%. And the bottom line is that there was a less draconian way to keep people safe and not shut down so many businesses. I heard in the lead to this segment that he apparently was saying something about every county is different yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we were saying.
Yeah.
At least I was saying 10 weeks ago.
I know.
Did we ever need to shut down every single county, or should we have actually gone county to county and done our best to keep as much open as we possibly can?
Yeah, that mimics.
Did we actually work? Sorry, Dan, go ahead.
No, that mimics what the president's been saying about the states. It's like the states have to make individual decisions based on their situation. So you can take that and extrapolate it to the county level, and it's exactly the same. Adam Laxalt here, our former Attorney General. I got to ask you a question, too, as the former Attorney General. We've got a lot of businesses. Some have said they're opening today whether the governor likes it or not. They're kind of defying, his order. What an awful choice, right, for a business owner to make. Your livelihood or what remains of your business and your quality of life. As a former Attorney General, if people are faced with breaking the law and going against this or watching everything go down the drain for them, do you fault them for that choice?
Well, I haven't studied enough of whether these criminal sanctions would be binding and how these things would really be responded to. I will say that not just for this governor, for governors all over the country, the time is coming where you're going to see massive litigation and you're going to see civil disobedience if there isn't greater communication, isn't greater explanation, and the people aren't more satisfied with the decisions these leaders are making, then you're going to see a lot more pushback. And then we are seeing some litigation across the country. And again, it's sort of what I said a few minutes ago, which is, look, for many, many weeks, people were giving leaders as much leeway as possible.
Right.
And businesses weren't happy, and a lot felt like, gosh, I could have stayed open and kept customers safe the entire time. But that's okay. You know, we're gonna go along with this for a period of time. But I think that time is coming short. Now, this governor and other governors are relying on the fact that I think overall the polls are still supporting shutdown type activity. But people like you and I'm speaking out, others are speaking out because it's time to push to make sure people know that what the consequences are on the other side. That this is not a value-free judgment that, let's just take another 8 weeks.
Yeah.
There's no consequences to that.
All right,
of course there's consequences.
You've got a website up where folks can go and find out more, right? GetNevadaWorking.com. What are folks going to find when they go there?
So if you go to GetNevadaWorking.com, that is a petition. And shortly after I started the op-ed, we got a lot of questions of, can we do anything else to try to put some pressure on the governor and the state to open? And so we started a petition drive. We have thousands of signatures already, and initially that was organic, and now we're running a campaign to get as many signatures as possible and to be able to help put pressure to show that there are tens of thousands of Nevadans that want us to open up as, obviously safely,
yep,
but as quickly as possible. So, yes, I would ask your listeners, if you agree with what I'm saying, go to GetNevadaWorking.com, sign our petition. We want this to go viral. We want to be able to put pressure on the governor and others that are decision makers to find a way to open. And, I would just add that if you're a small business, your customer is someone you know. These business owners care about their customers. Nobody wants anyone to die or to get sick. And so they're going to take precautions to get things open and to do it safely. And I'm sure it's just a mentality difference. Some of it's philosophical, right?
Yeah.
Do we have faith in these small business owners to keep Nevadans safe? I do.
I think the answer to that is yeah. I think we do.
And we should empower them to get open and to do it safely. And I believe they will do it safely. And we all are thinking, as the days have passed, of, again, initially we weren't challenging everything, and now we're thinking, gosh, why isn't this open?
Yeah.
Or why isn't that open? Why can I go to Raley's and buy plants out front, but I can't go to a nursery?
Adam Laxalt is our former Nevada Attorney General. I hate to cut you short there, but I'm out of time. I do appreciate you checking in with us this morning. Again, get to that website, folks, GetNevadaWorking.com.